Now that Zach Lavine is reportedly out for the next few games with an injury, and the Bulls have won back-to-back games for the first time against playoff contending teams in the Bucks and the Pelicans, is there something to be said about this new version of the Bulls being better without Zach Lavine? We already know that the reports are there that possibly Zach Lavine is already on his way out. He's one step out the door. I think personally he's ready to go to greener pastures. He wants to go to a better team or a winning team or a contending team. And so is this Bulls team actually buying into the playing style that Billy Donovan has been preaching for the last 2 or 3 years? Let's talk about it. What is going on? This is your boy Jordan JC. I'm back again on the ATS report, and it's looking pretty good in Chicago. I'm going to be honest with you. The Madhouse on Madison has been rocking for the last couple of games. The Bulls were very impressive. I actually went with my boy C-Dub from Windy City Breeze to the Bucks game, and we saw firsthand just how good they were as a team without their lead dog. And so is that a question mark? Is that a red flag on Zach Lavine? Or is that just the team just kind of stepping up in his absence? And now the team as a whole is buying into this faster paced style of play where they've gone over 32 plus assists the last 2 games, passing the ball, being decisive in their playing, running up and down the court, fast breaks, being aggressive on defense, making 3-point shots. Coby White, by the way, specifically, as it seems like he's turning it up to another level. Coby White has averaged 27.6.5 assists and 6.5 rebounds per game for the last 2 games. Now, of course, this is a small sample size, right? But it's very noteworthy to see that with more of a responsibility as far as being the offensive go-to guy, without Zach being there and then without DeMar being there against the Bucks as well, he pretty much was the number 2 behind Vooch. They worked through Vooch. Vooch had a good game with the double-double and I think about 5 assists with 26 and 10. And Coby White was right there with him, and they worked very well off each other, worked very well off the pick and roll. Coby White was very good at obviously 3-point shooting. We know how streaky he can be and how hot he can get in an instant. And then of course Dosunmu. So those are the 2 people that I actually want to pinpoint because this could be the new iteration of the Bulls going forward as they kind of retool this team. If there is a follow through with the Zach Lavine rumors of him being traded eventually, say come January to possibly the Lakers, or there's rumors about the Pistons now maybe being a potential destination, the Miami Heat, whatever the case may be. If Zach is out the door, this team actually is looking good with the way that they've been playing the past 2 games against very, very good teams. They're not bottom feeder teams that they beat. These are very, very good teams in the Bucks, who is a championship contender, as I said, and the Pelicans, who are playoff contenders, who had their full healthy roster. It's not like anybody sat out a game or they were just kind of ho-humming around in the game. These 2 teams came to play and they got beat by the Bulls in a very, very good back-to-back game. And so I just want to talk about how Zach Lavine, I think he came in. Obviously, he was given the crown to be that number 1 guy, and the team was built around him for the past 4 or 5 years in order to see if he can be that guy that can take a team to the next level. Can he be the number 1 on a playoff contending team? Can he be the number 1 on a possible championship level team? And I think slowly but surely, unfortunately, this is no knock on Zach and his personal and individual talent. I think the answer is no. It's a resounding no, because you've seen that he does not have the mentality or possibly the IQ to be that number 1 guy. And that's no knock, again, like I said, because there are very few of those in the league. There are so many that you can say can lead a team to a championship. You can probably count them on your hand, or maybe a couple on both hands. And so I think that Zach Lavine is a number 2, number 3 at the least on a championship team. You need somebody that's going to be a little bit more catered to the winning mentality and knowing what it takes, shot making, decision making on the court. I think those are things that Zach Lavine sometimes kind of fails at, is the mentality and the IQ of when to take a shot or where to be on the court, playing defense, playing all out in 48 minutes of play. And so I think that coming from where he came from in Minnesota, that in itself was a telltale sign to me personally. Even though I liked the pickup when we got Zach after he got that injury, he got back to full health, and then he just continued to work on his individual game. So kudos to that. But I think the writing was on the wall because, again, he came from a team in Minnesota where he was, again, the number 3 option behind Andrew Wiggins and Karl Anthony Towns. So it wasn't like he already had the mentality of being the go-to guy on that team. And then the Minnesota team didn't really go far. I think they made the playoffs 1 or 2 times with that version of that team, with that 3-headed monster and those young guys when they first got together. But they never went anywhere. And so coming here, I was always afraid or just skeptical of the fact that would this be the guy that we can make a team around that can be successful and lead us to contending and challenging other great teams in the league for a championship run. And so we're seeing that that's not the case. But what we are seeing is that in his absence, this team is doing what it used to do when you had the Baby Bulls iteration of Ben Gordon and Kirk Hiram. Just very, very hard defense, hard-nosed defense, buying into up and down the court. And even with DeMar, I thought that there would be kind of like a tell-off when DeMar came back in that second game against the Pelicans, and they're going to go back to, kind of slowing the pace because DeMar admittedly is up in age for an NBA player, right? And so with that in mind, he's not going to always be committed to being so, up and down the court. You're going to be like, hey, let's slow it down, and he's going to go into his half-court offense and isolate the ball, get to his mid-range shot, back down his defender. The things that DeMar does and does very well, actually. But there's times and spots for that, which you saw in the Pelicans game. In the fourth quarter, DeMar DeRozan did what he needed to do to make sure that the Bulls solidified that lead. He did what he needed to do the fourth quarter, DeMar, in a sense. But throughout the entire game, the rest of the team was running up and down the court. Dosunmu has been impressive ever since he's gotten more minutes. The last 2 games, I believe he is respectively, 39 minutes against the Bucks, 33 minutes against the Pelicans. Those are increases in minutes, and you can see the increase in production from that. Respectively, again, 14 points against the Bucks, 15 points against the Pelicans on very efficient shooting, 6 for 8 and 6 for 9. In the Bucks game, he had 6 rebounds and 6 assists as well to go with those points. And so you're starting to see the IO that I've seen since he played in Illinois, and he was doing his thing. He was averaging over 20 points a game while also being the facilitator for that team, while also running up and down the court, leading the fast breaks, having a high IQ. And so now you can build off of those 2 players in Coby and Io and still have Vooch, still have an iteration of that top 3 that we had, possibly keeping DeMar DeRozan around because I think he's a good mentor and a good, I guess you could say old head for the young guys, because you can see that he doesn't have a problem with taking these guys under his wing and training them, being with them in the offseason, showing them the ropes of what to do in crucial moments in the game. And I think that that's a product of him as well. I think that that's something that you can build off of, is keeping him around. And again, going back to Vooch, working through him from the inside out, working through the paint and allowing him to do what he does. And so does that mean that Zach kind of got in the way of this type of playing style? Maybe. It looks good. All I can say is that if this is going to happen going forward, then there might be a big question mark as to what Zach can truly bring to a team, and we might possibly be seeing the best version of the Chicago Bulls and what they should have looked like had they bought into this type of playing style, this fast-paced style in the first place. And so those are my thoughts. What do you guys think about this version of the Bulls the last 2 games? Again, we can be honest. This is a small sample size. I'm not trying to go crazy here and say that we've seen this over the course of a month. We know the Bulls can be very up and down and can win against great teams, and then they go right back to losing against really bad teams. So we will see if they can keep this up and be consistent with this fast pace of offense, and also allowing Coby White to be that lead dog with Io and with the Alex Caruso and with Vooch and DeMar. And we'll just see how it pans out. Will it be different when Zach comes back before he gets traded, or possibly gets traded? We don't know. But let me know how you guys feel about that. What do you think? Do you think the Bulls are turning a corner? Do you think that they found something that they can build off of and possibly get back into a playoff contention? It's still early in the season. They're only 7-14. And so we'll see. We will see. Again, if you guys like this video, show some class. Comment, like, and subscribe. Share this video with others. And I will see you guys on the next ATS Report.